What's up, guys? My name is Corey Berrier and I am the sales CEO, and here's what I want to ask you. I want you to think about this for just a second. If you're in the solar industry and you are knocking doors, if you're cold calling, if you're even using lead gen, but you're only closing 50% of your appointments, then I would have you ask yourself for a second, do you have the right training? Do you have the proper support to help you move through this sales process? And look, selling solar is a bit different than selling any other product or service. Why? Because there's a lot of moving parts to it, and you've got to understand product knowledge, right? And I usually don't preach product knowledge very much, but in this scenario, you do have to have product knowledge. You have to have alternatives, right? And you also want to, this is a quick tip, you want to write this down. You also want to make sure that you have contractors in your back pocket. Here's an example. If you go to a house and the roof is 15 years old, now you know, and I know, you can't put solar on a 15-year-old roof because it's going to cause problems, right? You're going to have issues. And that's going to fall back on you, the salesperson. And ultimately, that deal is going to fall through because the installation crew is going to get there and they're going to say, absolutely not, right? And so look, save yourself from having to go through these trials and tribulations, these issues, right? If you understand that the roof is 15 years old, and let's just imagine for a moment that you've got your buddy now who's a roofer. Even if it's not your buddy, anybody that's a roofer that you know is good, you've seen their work, you have a relationship with them. If you don't have a relationship with a roofer, then you need to get a relationship with a roofer because you're going to need a roofer, right? And that could solve your deal. That could literally close the deal for you, having that roofer in your back pocket, right? If you've got this guy and you say, hey, I'm going to call my buddy John. He owns John's Roofing Company, and he works with all the clients that I work with that need new roofs. Not roofs. Roofs. And so, having that relationship, one, it validates you're the guy they need to be working with. It validates you're the expert. It validates you've got people in your corner that can help you out. And that shows that it's social proof, right? It shows that you're an industry leader. And I know you are, but maybe your customer doesn't know that. And so if you say, well, didn't realize you had a 15-year-old roof, you're going to have to call a roofer to get that looked at before we can move forward. You have literally just sold yourself out of a job. You've just sold yourself out of a job. Think about that. Now, if you've ever said that to a customer, now you realize that ABC company down the street just took your job. You gave them your commission check. That's what's happening right now. The deals that you're losing, they're going somewhere, right? Not all of them, but majority of them are just going with a different company. How does that make you feel to know you're paying for somebody else's kids' Christmas gifts this year? Because you weren't prepared. You didn't have the roofer in your back pocket, but the other guy did, right? Here's another thing. When you're pricing out systems, don't give them the smallest system you possibly can just to make a sale. That is irresponsible and absolutely ridiculous. Do you think that's the long game? Because if you think that, you're dead ass wrong. It's not the long game. In fact, it's going to be the end of your career, because as soon as the customer figures out they're not producing enough energy to offset their electric bill, who's that going to blow back on? You, right? It's going to blow back on you. There's software that helps you figure out how many panels people need. Now, if you make the conscious decision to sell the customer something that they don't need and don't want, it should come back on you. you should pay the penalty for that. You should have the clawback from that because you didn't do right by the customer. And that's a problem. I have a massive problem with people that don't do right by their customers. And you should too. Because guess what? If you're that guy, you're giving the industry a bad name. You're giving the whole damn solar industry a bad name because you're selling stuff to people that don't need it. Or better yet, you're selling them a solution that doesn't solve their problem. Now you've created a bigger problem for them. And I get very passionate about this because look, we've all been taken advantage of by somebody. Every but one of us. We've all bought a car that you know, maybe it was a lemon or whatever the case may be, right? But imagine for a minute, if we go through this process, I'm the customer, you're the salesperson, and you convince me that I need 9 panels on my roof, right? And the only reason that you convinced me of that was because it was the cheapest possible way to get a deal. Now, look, you didn't make shit on that deal. I know that and you know that. So what is the point in selling a solution that doesn't solve the whole problem? What is the point in you selling a system that you don't make any money on? I mean, good Lord, that doesn't even add up. It doesn't make sense. And now you might be thinking, I'm crazy. You might be thinking that, well, nobody does that, Corey. Bull. Yeah, they absolutely do that. I hear this all the time in this solar industry. All the time. Look, you should be aware of this. If you're not, you absolutely need to join my Sales CEO Syndicate. But listen, if you're not aware of the federal law, I think it's federal law, that 3-day right of rescission. In solar, people have 3 days to decide if they want to cancel you or keep you. Now, if you're a shyster, if you're shady, and if you're a quick talker and you're just a slick salesperson, that's going to resonate with those folks during that 3 days. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a clawback. If you don't know what a clawback is, you're probably not in the solar industry. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people in the solar industry. And so how does that feel when you get a clawback? Not good. Not to mention you got to explain why you're getting the clawback. It is absolutely ridiculous that you would consider, first of all, selling a solution that doesn't solve the whole problem. Now you've caused more problems. Now you get a clawback because the system's not what you said it was, right? And here's the other thing. Now you got to talk to your boss or talk to your dealer, whoever you'd work with. You got to explain to them what happened. And now you look bad to them. So the whole deal is just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And look, we've all made bad decisions. I've been in sales 25 years. I've sold stuff just because I needed the money, right? Of course I have. It's been a while. I haven't had to do that in years because I decided to change me. I decided to change the person that I am and look out for the person I'm working with, opposed to looking out for Corey. And I'd have you think for a minute, if your mindset is, I'm going to get mine, then guess what? You're not going to last. You're not going to last in that industry. I never made a ton of money because I was in it for me. What's in it for me? The customer's saying, what's in it for me? But if you're saying what's in it for me, guess what? You can't explain to them what's in it for them if you're only thinking about what's in it for you. So you got to think about what's in it for them. Anytime you're selling anything, what's in it for the customer? What problem is this going to solve? And you got to pitch it that way. But look, it is what's in it for them. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about your product or service. But what they do give a damn about is that whatever solution you're offering, that it solves their problem. They do care about that. And naturally, they want you to be fair. But people will pay more money for guarantees. People will, but look, I'll give you an example. My group coaching program, 100% money back guarantee, plus I give you $500 extra. No questions asked if you don't grow your revenue within the first 3 months of working with me. That's simple. That simple. Now, that's a guarantee, right? It's a guarantee that I wouldn't say if I didn't know you weren't going to be successful in my program, because you will. Everybody that's ever gone through my program has been successful. I've never given back one single refund. I've never even had a refund request. But if I did, I would ask no questions and I would refund the money, because that tells me you're not the person I need to be working with, right? Because the person I want to be working with is going to grow, because they're going to listen and pay attention to the information that I give. They're going to implement it. Action takers. That's what I'm looking for. I am not looking for people sitting on the sideline. I'm not looking for to babysit you. I'm not looking for people that need the guarantee in order to do business with me. If you need the guarantee, that tells me you're not really sold on my program. And I don't want you in my program if that's the case. I got way off track and I apologize, but I get a little passionate about that. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. How would it feel to know there's a process out there after the paperwork's signed to for sure for you to lock in that deal, and there's no chance you're going to get the clawback. No chance you're going to get that 3-day right of rescission cancellation. That's what I'm telling you I know how to do better than you do, and better than anybody else does. And I don't see that egotistically. I've done it 1,000,000 times. And then lastly, are you following up? Are you checking on your installation crew when they're installing the panels? If you're not, you're missing the boat. If you're not taking them coffee, if you're not taking them lunch, what do you think that does? That makes them feel like you care about them. It makes them feel like they're a part of your team. It makes them feel like they're a part of a community. People like to feel like they're a part of a community. And so, guys, listen. This is a simple fix. It's a $20 fix to take 2 people lunch. Not a big deal, but it matters every single time. It's kind of like, here's an example. You don't ever see a $2 priced item in the store, but you see $1.99 everywhere. Now, does the 1 cent matter? Absolutely not. Would it matter to you or me if we had to go pay an extra penny for something? No. Who cares? However, psychology, it matters every single time. That 1 penny in your brain says it's cheaper. I got to go with that one, right? So that's just an example of how your brain works, right? And look, it's perception. And if your guys, your install crew feels like you care about them, they're going to do a great job. They're going to make sure they clean up. They're going to make sure that if they puncture the roof the wrong way, they're going to fix it. If you're not the guy that does that, they may just leave that hole there and let you deal with it. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have the first people on my team. So, look, I'm just telling you, this is the deal. If you want help with this, if you're struggling right now with this very thing, and I know a lot of you are. I know you are. I've done the research. I've checked it out. You don't know how to close after the close, and you're not following up. If you want to learn the exact steps, point A to point B process, to close the deal, to make sure it's buttoned up, to make sure that you do the right follow-up, to make sure your customers love you, then I'm going to drop a link below this video. I encourage you to book a call with me right now. Book a call right now, and let's talk about how we can grow your revenue over the next 90 days. Let's talk about how you can make sure you button up every single deal that you ink. And we'll see you guys on the other side.